Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. And, my neighbors are still in their house. Interesting. Anyway, happy Monday. And, welcome to, what I believe is a push day. Because I did legs right before I went out hunting, which, by the way, huge mistake. Don't recommend that. It was pretty rough. Moving around, hauling deer, sitting, etc., when your quads and your cheeks just want to not do that. So I've maintained my soreness through the weekend, if you will, I guess consequently. But updates on hunting, pretty successful opening weekend, I'm not going to lie. Opening day was Saturday, whatever that was, the 15th, and my little brother bagged a pretty massive 9-point, pretty big, old deer, gray fur. His ears were destroyed. I mean, teeth were ground. Now, you could tell he was old. You could tell he was fighting. He was just a big old veteran deer, and I actually saw him a few times that day. I saw him pretty much as soon as I got out there, like once it was light, so like 7 o'clock, 7-ish, I saw him, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to shoot him. And then about half an hour later, 7:30, I saw him again, and I'm like, yeah, I still don't really want to shoot him. And so I let him go. And then about a half hour after that, I heard the shot, and I'm like, yep. And then it was my little brother who bagged him, and that's cool. It was a big deer. And then so we got that all cleaned up. I was exhausted at this point, right? Because I don't sleep. It was really warm at where I was, so I didn't sleep very well. And also, by the way, it was like 71 degrees out in the middle of November on opening day. Figure that out. I was literally in a long sleeve t-shirt and a pair of pants, and that's it. Like, and I was sweating. So, but anyway, so we got that deer skinned and processed for the most part. And so I went back out. We all went back out, I reckon. And I just kind of sat down and just fell asleep. I passed out. I'm tired at this point. I've been up since 4:30-ish in the morning. And get back out there, I get set up, and I just pass out. I mean, I am gone, dead to the world, sleeping, and so and then I kind of like, I'm having a dream, and somebody in the dream's like, hey, wake up, and so I'm like, get up, and I'm like, what? And I look over, and there's a deer walking, I don't know, maybe 50 feet away from me, and I'm like, yeah, that's a shooter. Like, I'm not going to pass on this one. That's pretty darn good. And so I let him get where I want him to be, and I made it now. I went, bleh! And that's just the sound I make, and they usually stop and look. I'm surprised actually he did stop and look, because they were rutting really quite hard when we were out there. And usually you can like throw a rock at them, get in their face, and they don't care. Like, you're not going to spook them when the rut's like really down and dirty. And that was the case. But he stopped and he looked and he was like, what the hell is that? And so I took him a shot and hit him in the heart. Pretty good shot, in fact. I'm surprised. I thought it was a bad shot, and it turned out to be absolutely perfect. So, can't complain. And he went down, and so I bagged him. He was a 10-point, which is pretty darn good. And I'm working on a European mount for that, which I've not done before. And so I have a pretty cool trophy there. And I saved a good portion of the meat, and I did cook some already. It is better tasting, but I think I'm just honestly losing the taste for deer. But I'm still gonna eat it. It's not like, it's food, it's protein, it's very good protein. It's obviously not processed. It's organic. It's wild, etc. It's very, very good for you. So I'm going to eat it, but I'm just beginning to think that perhaps it's not my favorite meat. So But, as you grow, your tastes change and all that jazz. So, whatever. And then, we went out again. That was in the afternoon on Saturday. We went out again Sunday morning. I saw some does. I did see one buck also that was worth shooting. But I just didn't want to. It would have been a really tough shot. He was like moving pretty fast, and it was every bit of 75 to 100 yards away, and so I just didn't want to miss, didn't want to take the shot, etc. So I just moved on, and then after that I quieted down. I didn't really see too much after that, and then came back home, processed the meat that I took, butchered it up, got started on working that amateur taxidermy there, which I may just turn into a taxidermist because it's truly an awful job. It smells so bad to do it, and I might just have somebody else do it because it's freaking not fun. It stinks. It's like, and I've got a pretty strong stomach, and I don't mind, carcasses or dead animals or even rotting things that much. But when you start boiling brains and tongues and eyeballs, it smells. It's like top 3 worst smells I've ever smelled, for sure. It's up there. Really, really atrocious. So I may actually pawn that off to a professional who also knows what he's doing. I'm fairly confident that I'm going to destroy it the more that I mess around with it, because I don't actually know what the hell I'm doing. But we'll see. Anyway, other than that, don't have a whole lot going on. Thinking about, I'm going to clean the garage this week at some point. I'm going to throw an immense amount of crap out, organize a lot of stuff, put things away, clear some room up, for a few reasons. One is Katie wants to park her new car, new used car, new to us, I reckon is the terminology, in the garage to avoid the snow and the cold weather and whatnot. And secondly, I think it's about time I start working on cars again. I need to do the brakes on my Ranger. Well, I don't need to, but I have the parts to do the brakes on my Ranger, so I figure I ought to do it at some point. I looked, and they still got some life in them, but I already got the bearings and the pads and the rotors and the races and everything, so I might as well just do it. Whatever. And then I think I don't have everything for the all-wheel drive swap yet. I still need the rear end, which is a big deal, and the regulator for the actual Haldex unit, the transfer case, if you will. But in the meantime, I could put the 6-speed transmission in this here Beetle, which is something I kind of want to do anyway. So I'll need to get everything put in, and then I'll see what parts I need to order. I know I need a slave cylinder. They have so on the 5 speeds, it's an external slave. So your line, your clutch line, just goes directly. Same master cylinder, which is nice, but which is the one that's attached to your pedal. But the slave cylinder is the one that goes into the throw out or release bearing, and in this case, the clutch fork. And on the 5 speeds is an external slave, which is to say that the line goes directly from the clutch reservoir, which is in this case the same as the brake fluid reservoir, goes from that directly into the slave cylinder, and that uses a piston to push on the fork and the throw-out bearing. For the 6 speeds, it's an internal slave, which means that the slave and the throw-out bearing are one piece, and it uses hydraulic pressure within the, encased unit to do both the job of the clutch fork. It pushes on the clutch fork with the actual throwout bearing itself. And you need, it's not like an adapter, it's a block. That's what it's called. It's called a bleeder block. And you take the bleeder block that goes, and one end fits onto the external or the internal slave, which sticks out of the bell housing. And the other end connects to your reservoir. And there's a bleeder screw in the middle, hence bleeder block. And so I'll need one of those. I'll need the throwout bearing. There's one power steering line that gets in the way of the installation, and a lot of people say, like, if you're real careful, you can just bend it out of the way. Otherwise, you're going to need to pick up the dedicated power steering line and install that. I'm going to try to see if I can't just bend it, because I don't want to have to redo all the power steering. You can make that, buddy, if you go, but whatever. I don't want to have to redo all the power steering fluid, etc. And I also don't want to have to redo or just reroute all of that piping or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to just go ahead and see if I can't bend it out of the way, which I've heard isn't that bad. It literally only needs to move like a fraction of an inch just to clear the bell housing. And then, of course, I'll need bolts and a transmission mount, but it comes with the transmission mount that I need. It's different from the 5-speed transmission, but it uses the same bolt holes, so I'll be fine with that. But I'll need, because I have to change out the flywheel and the pressure plate and the clutch plate, etc. So I'll need the set of flywheel bolts, which are torque to yield, so you can't reuse them. I mean, you can, but you really shouldn't. So I'll need to get a set of those. I'll need to get a set of flywheel bolts as well. And I think there's one other bolt on the bell housing that is slightly different than the 5-speeds, but I think you can just use the same bolt. That being said, the bolts on the bell housing are also technically torque to yield, but I just throw a shitload of Loctite on there, and or what I've done with a few of them is, instead of, like, I've stripped them out, to be honest with you. So instead of using the threads, I got a couple bolts that are like, a couple inches longer, and slap them on with a lock washer, with a lock nut and a washer, which I think is a better system anyway, but because it's not the ones that aren't blind holes at the very least. And so I'll just tighten those on, and that clamps it honestly better than using the threads. So, but yeah, but that's kind of what I want to do. It's quite a bit of work. I mean, we're talking probably a grand total, just because I partially know what I'm doing. I know how to I can drop this transmission in 2 hours. Easy. Okay. Not hard. But putting on the new flywheel, the new pressure plate and the new clutch pad, we're looking at about, that's a couple hours by itself. And then putting on getting the new bell housing on with all the rigmarole and screwing with it that I got to do, that's going to be that's probably going to be 3 or 4 hours, honestly. And then, bleeding. So we're looking at, like, probably in surplus of 8 to 10 hours plus screwing around time. So it's going to be more than a few days of being underneath the car. And I also kind of thinking about, maybe I should just wait till spring when it's not, 20 degrees in my garage. Just a thought. To be fair, though, when I did this one, I did almost all the work when it was freezing friggin' cold. So once you get wrenching, though, you warm up pretty good, so it's not even that big of an issue. Anyway, though, that's kind of what I have in the works, but we'll see. I probably am not going to do it anytime soon. Who knows? Yes, the main priority is cleaning out the garage, right? But anyway, we're pulling up to the gym now. We're going to get a push day in, and I should be pretty strong after a few days off. And I'm super freaking fat and heavy. I was like 210 this morning, bordering on 211. So, yeah, it's going to be a good time. I will see you guys in there. Okay, so we're starting with dumbbell shoulder press. I just warmed up with calves, but doing 3 sets of 10. And I'm going to start with the 80s and see how that feels. I mean, I used to be doing hundreds on this, but we're still kind of recovering a little bit. So here we go. I also saw on Instagram or something that you're actually not supposed to have the bench fully vertical. It's supposed to be tilted back ever so slightly. So we're going to run that and see if that's beneficial or helpful or whatever. So anyway, here we go. Woo! Not bad. I think that's a good weight. Okay. Let's start it again. Got 10 real easy. It's fairly easy. Got 10 the first set. I could have probably had 1 left in the tank there, maybe 1 or 2. Excuse me. I was also doing really good form. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, those are like really slow, very controlled reps. So try to do the same thing. And then if it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, then I'll start pumping them out. So, but anyway, here we go, 80 pounds again. All right, last set. Here we go. Woo! Honestly, probably need to jump the weight up next week, I tell you what. That was a little too easy. All right, incline dumbbell, 3 sets of 10 to 12. I'm gonna be doing, I'll do 3 sets of the hundreds, okay? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yep. Ooh. All right. I need to fix my white balance, apparently. Yep. Okay, well, strength is not there. Oh well. Alright, I'm gonna go for the same weight, even though I didn't even get the full set. I really just want to see if that was a fluke or if I'm really just sucking some ass, you know? I'm utterly confident it's supposed to be up one. But I think that's a 45. You know, so let's put it back to where it was. And yeah, whatever. Who knows? Alright. Oh, okay, here we go. Move the camera up a little bit closer. We can. It's so much more intimate this way. I'm like fat. This should be easy. This is less than body weight here. I don't know what the friggin' problem is. Okay, started cramping a little bit. Well, I think I got the one more rep, so perhaps the first one was a fluke. Ooh, I feel it good though. Alright, last set, let's survive it. Add one rep every set, figure that out. Sometimes training doesn't make sense. Well, I know why I was flying that set. Not trying to control it that much. Alright, weighted dips, 2 sets of 12. I struggled with these pretty hard last time, so I'm just really starting pretty late here with only a 60-pound dumbbell. So, we'll also consider we're talking about, at this point, 30-ish pounds up in body weight from show. So, all right, here we go. So actually, when you think about it, this is the same as doing 2 plates 90, right? Because there's 30 more pounds of me as well. Okay, that hurt. All right, do that 2 more times. I might drop the weight actually even more. All right, let's do it again. I did drop it to 50. Call me a bitch if you want, I don't care. Because I can't make me feel worse than I feel about myself for having to drop weight on everything. All right. Well, that's a nice weight there. That feels pretty darn good, actually. Big fan of that. All right. One more. All right. I think I have dumbbell pullovers after this. Let's finish it out. All right. Yeah, I caught myself on something. Anyway. You ever feel like you have to sneeze and then it doesn't happen? Oh well. Here we go. All right, what's next? All right, dumbbell pullovers, 3 sets of 15. But on the bright side, I'm not utterly gassed. So, what I'm kind of lacking for in just overall strength, I'm making up for endurance. So, time and attention and all that. Anyway, let's hit this. As always, easier when it's over. Oh, rocking a 70, which is not too crazy. All right, 2 more of those. That was pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I hit the button like 6 times. There we go. All right, we're going again. Okay, gotta scoot up quite significantly. All right. Okay, goodness. All right. One more. Okay, last set for this. And then I think I got like a couple sets of triceps, and then I move on to bigger and better things, i.e. posing and going home and eating. I don't know what's for dinner. Probably some rice. I eat a lot of rice. I think you underestimate how much rice I eat. I don't know what's like on an old like bodybuilder meme. You eat a bunch of rice, but I literally go through like a pound of rice like every day, so if not more. Wow, that's annoying. Well, moving on. 3 sets of 15 each side. Come on. Yeah. Of lateral raises on the pulley here. We're going to be doing 25 pounds behind the back. All right, here we go. Oh, and we're going to try not to lose our balance. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take like 30 seconds before I hit the next set. This is also a really old shirt. It's an extra large. I have 2 of them. And so it's a little tight. Alright? I'm not that fat. And I'm pretty fat at this point, but it's an XL, so not a 2X. That's why it looks silly. Alright. Pain. much pain. Okay. Starting to cramp up a bit. In like a, not like in a, whatever, in a lifting way, in the good way. Pump, I guess, if you will. One more. Again, you need a drink of water. I'll finish it out. All right. Let's kill it. Oh, goodness. All right. 3 sets 12 tricep overhead. And we're going to start with 112 and a half, which is the weight that I think I should have started with last week. I'm going to set this nice and low. Hopefully not. Okay, might be slightly too low. All right, here we go. This can be heavy as sin, I think. Oh, not bad. Okay. Probably could have squeezed a little bit more there, but it was nice and heavy. All right. Didn't rest long enough, I'm going to be honest with you, but hey. Shotgun muscle. Okay. What the hell? It's like glued or something. Okay. All right. We'll drop the weight. Got it dropped down to 100. Let's see what we're cranking here. Beauty. All right, here we go. Okay, I gotta really mindset this. Yeah. I gotta cheat like pretty much all these. Okay. Moving on. I got 3 sets of 12 with underhand pushdowns. I got 50 pounds because 62 felt like a lot. I'm going to do something different. I'm using 2 cable attachments. And it might make my wrists feel a little bit happier than estimated this. There we go. Oh, might have to chop it even more. All right, we're gonna drop. Yeah, we're gonna drop it down to 37. Here we go. And just like really get this squeeze at the bottom. Yeah. Oh yeah. That feels good. I like that. Okay. One more. Last one, and then we can get some posing if we're actually dented the grips here. I was squeezing it too hard. Here we go. Okay. Woo! All right, let's get some posing. All right, here we go. Oh, fudge. Oh. Okay. All righty then. Ooh, okay, so 210 pounds. Still pretty lean. Can't be too mad about that. I got that Hollywood physique right now. That's why we hit chest and tries today, so get a little. Okay. I don't know if I can hike these sweatpants up high enough to get a proper thigh abdominal up in here. Not a chance. I don't really feel confident enough to just drop my undies in the middle of freaking the gym. So, but still not too bad. Oh. 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 Anyway, still looking good. I will see you guys next week, or tomorrow, not next week. Woo.